how does this actually get implemented then? You know, having been an EDI manager myself, I'm familiar with the process of vendor selection, getting in some server-based software, getting people to understand it, start building maps, start reaching out to your trading partners, get a trading partner agreement, start doing some proof of concepts and tests. You know, it's this long, drawn-out process that, especially if you have a large number of trading partners, can very easily be a multi-year rollout process to get your top 10%, top 20%, then work your way down to the smaller ones. But how does it work with the SAP Information Interchange model?
Well, it works a lot quicker because of the fact that we have this reusable content scenario. So we have a huge collection of already created and populated partner profiles or trading partner profiles. So, you know, Walmart Mexico's invoice, or, you know, Carrefour's purchase order, and we can reuse that content. And so a customer comes to us and says, here's the trading partners I need to do business with, here are the documents I need to pass, and we deliver those to the customer. Like I said, we've got a content factory always creating those. And then from a services standpoint, the SAP system needs to be B2B enabled, so there's sometimes a little bit of work that's done on that end to configure the system to work with SAP Information Interchange, and that's usually a very small project. And then we turn the system on. There's, you know, the customer, again, isn't dealing with translators and isn't dealing with mapping. We're taking that off of their shoulders and off of their responsibility and moving it into the cloud.
So where do you find the biggest ROI? If you can just kind of focus it down to 3 or 4 things, what are the biggest ROIs?
Well, one is just the cost of trading partner enablement. So, you know, our from a general B2B standpoint, you know, the ideal target profile is someone who's doing a net new ERP, or they are doing an upgrade to the business suite, or they may have some contracts that are running out with current B2B suppliers. And so when that infrastructure has to be redone, ours is a lot less expensive. And the fact that it's so deeply integrated to you know, all the business processes within SAP Business Suite, there's a secondary benefit that comes out of that just from the business process automation. And then when you look at the B2B enablement of our line of business apps, invoicing or supplier network collaboration or transportation management, those applications themselves get an enhanced ROI out of their usage because of the fact that, you know, you really kind of take those applications from being you know, long tail to mainstream, meaning a lot of people use those on the, you know, the upper 10% of their spend or the upper 10% of their supply chain activity because it's expensive to onboard these partners. And there's also a tax on the partner too. But now with SAP Information Interchange, we can make that mainstream. We have the come as you are model with the trading partners, and our customers get a lot more utilization out of their systems.
So is it fair to say that this is a managed EDI service in the cloud? Is that a correct definition?
It is, yeah. So there's 2 parts of SAP Information Interchange. There's the license part, which is the B2B content engine and the associated profiles. And then Crossgate offers a managed service as well, which is connected to it, which you know, manages it. It has it's certainly not a required component of SAP Information Interchange, but most customers use it because of the ease of the fact that a customer buys SAP Information Interchange and they give it to Crossgate to run in their cloud, and then it's completely hands-free as far as the customer is concerned. And,
got it. So that would be a model, I would guess, then, where the IT says, look, EDI is not our one of our core functions here. We want to run our business. So therefore, the communications with our trading partner network, we feel comfortable outsourcing to and using SAP Information Interchange. Exactly,
and that's sort of I think that's the model for the future. I mean, what we're talking about is, you know, multi-enterprise integration with the fact that we have embedded B2B embedded multi-enterprise B2B into our application portfolio, and then we have this managed service that we can offer that takes care of all of the, you know, the maintenance and the work and you know, doing things like you know, someone has a missed document, finding out what happened. And the other benefit of the managed service is the fact that when a particular trading partner changes their profile, it's changed in the managed service, and every customer utilizing the managed service gets the benefit of it, as opposed to every single customer who does business with that trading partner has to change their profile themselves. So
Very
exponentially, we bring the time frame down in which it takes to manage this.
So it really starts sounding almost like a LinkedIn function for the enterprise, where you have the enterprises connecting with each other through some networked website. Is that
exactly
a fair description?
Yeah, I mean that's a great metaphor, and we use that a lot in terms of, we would compare, prior to LinkedIn, we would compare managing your address book just kind of like the point-to-point approach of traditional EDI, where you have an address book and you have friends and family and business contacts in there, and sometimes that stuff gets old and somebody moves or gets a new job, or even, before number portability got a new cell phone, and then you want to get in touch with that person. You can't, so you got to track them down, get their information, key it into your system, and then you're reconnected. But with LinkedIn, all you need to do is maintain your connection to LinkedIn, and largely through self-service, your network maintains their connection, and so you don't have to worry about all of these other, all these other people in there. You just have that one piece to worry about, and it's the same kind of model that we're talking about.
Wow.
Just with B2B.
I love it. So the last question I want to run by you here before I let you go for the day here, Carter, is I've heard SAP's co-CEO Jim Snabe often talk about the concept of business network transformation. And I've heard him use those three words, business network transformation, in the same context as SAP Information Interchange. How does that relate?
Well, it's one and the same. So we talk about business network transformation. We also refer to it as business web. But the real point of it is that, if you envision all of your customers and every single one of their points of contact with their own customers, it becomes this huge web of information and a huge web of collaboration. And if we have all of that web enabled, then customers no longer have to, we'll back up a second. So when you look at a linear supply chain, each element in the supply chain is really optimizing for the next step. Whereas in a web, the business web environment, everyone can optimize around the customer because the links are there. And if you look at the number of SAP customers that are doing business with other SAP customers, building a network that way, and even a network of networks, because other networks will still exist, is something that is not too far from the future. And then once that network exists, being able to add on-demand applications into that network, for example, things that can visualize spend, for example, or do a lot of incident management of your entire supply chain because everything becomes interconnected. And we got to building demand-driven supply chains, and that was very transformative. And now we're taking it into the next step where we're building out the whole business network this way.
Well, Carter, I want to just thank you for joining us today and sharing this information with our listeners here. Now, are you going to be at Sapphire, and where would people find more information about SAP Information Interchange at Sapphire?
Well, certainly Crossgate will be a sponsor at Sapphire, so there'll be a sponsor booth there.
Okay.
And that's a good way to find out more and kind of a launch point. We will also have SAP Information Interchange in the partner pod area.
Okay.
So there'll be a pod there. We'll talk specifically about it from an SAP point of view. And then we have some certain industry presentations. I think we have some content around transportation management, around supply chain, and even around financials and e-invoicing. So as Sapphire is laid out by process, you can find the process that you're interested in, and most likely we'll have a presence there.
Well, very interesting. Well, Carter, thank you again, and I think this is one of the most interesting new developments that has come out of the EDI and B2B market for a long time. With that, I want to thank you and thank the listeners for joining.